Optimising grazing management is a constant battle for the livestock farmer, constantly checking or moving fences to ensure the animals get the nutrition they need without damaging fragile ecosystems or exposing the animals to unnecessary risk. Now technology has a solution: No Fence, a grazing management system that enables the user to manage their grazing without fencing. No Fence uses GPS technology combined with a collar that the animal wears to enable the farmer to define where the animal can graze and to remotely monitor the animal's activity. James Daniel is a grazing consultant and is running several trials around the country to test how the No Fence system works in managed grazing.
When we say managed grazing, that covers a range of techniques, but in principle everyone's following the same practices, and that's allocating an area to animals and then moving them regularly, not returning to that area until the plants are fully recovered. No Fence or virtual fencing have been used for more like conservation grazing, where we had a few animals in a large area. Where it hadn't been used was in a managed grazing scenario where we got much higher stocking densities. More importantly, the animals are being moved regularly, so the shape and size of the area changes every 1 or 2 days. So that was the main thing that we needed to understand. The way we use it in managed grazing actually is they're allocated to one area and then we expand that area to allocate more pasture, and when the animals have found the new pasture we then contract it and that becomes their new paddock. How often we do this really depends on weather conditions and both the needs of the animal and the needs of the pasture. That's done via the app. The app also gives us notifications around battery life, animal activity, and we can review their activity in this pasture and we can see where they spent their time grazing and also where they've incurred any pulses. And that's been really useful because we can check that the shape and design of our paddock is the most logical so animals can understand it. What's really interesting is animals learn the system. It takes about a week to learn that when they hear a sound, they can stop the sound by stopping or by turning around. And they completely understand the system, and you can watch them and they'll choose to graze on the edge and they'll move in and out of the sound zone. The use of sounds is very effective. In its current form, where we think the system's got the most potential is to enable a land manager or a farmer to improve their grazing management. It's most suited to open blocks of grazing like this, where we can break it down into those paddocks and create that grazing system that will enable a recovery period for the pasture, which is going to have a great benefit here, particularly if we get later in the season. It's also a good enabling tool for anyone that's maybe time limited and also experience limited in paddock grazing with temporary electric fencing materials, because once the collars are fitted, they give you feedback as to where the animals are, and it does make it very easy to work with a grazing consultant to allocate the correct area to the animals, regularly review the feed budget, and to change it dynamically with the weather. So we're not constrained to fixed paddocks and fixed infrastructure, and for instance for Matt here, there's been no issue for us to quickly change the area that needs to be allocated. It's maybe just to cope with the variation in the pasture for the part of the field we're grazing, or it may be to cope with the change in weather that we weren't expecting. But to do the right thing doesn't take any extra time, and that makes it really suitable and convenient for someone that's maybe not so experienced with grazing yet.
No Fence, bringing technology to grazing management, optimising nutrition for your animals, helping to manage delicate ecosystems and keeping your stocks safe. No Fence.